Countdown Conspiracy, Chapter 8, Part 2. There are chunks of ice falling from the boosters below, all from the enormous amount of frost built up on the tanks. The wind is relentless up on the gangplank. The hatch opens and we all clamber in. Walking forward onto the gray floor of Ambassador, I turn to the left to reach for the ladder that will take me to my seat. Raheem follows behind me, and everyone else climbs up after him. We had to decide in advance who would sit where for this first practical. Tamaki immediately claimed the pilot seat. Anna chose to sit next to him as co-pilot. Najma got dibs on programmer, positioning herself closest to the main computer consoles, which leaves Esteban, Raheem, and me in the back seats. Each added generic console station meant for the flight engineers and the secondary programmer. I'm between the two boys. We sit down, leaning back into our seats horizontally, like I've been doing each morning for my running sessions with Lizzie. Raheem is the picture of seriousness. Clipping on his wireless headset, on the other side of me, Esteban can barely control himself. Best day ever, best day ever, best day ever, he keeps repeating. Lizzie and Kreshkov get to sit upright behind us on the divider between the cockpit and the rest of the space plane. I can hear them whispering to each other and wish I knew what they were saying. I wonder if Lizzie has told Kreshkov that she'd rather be on the ISS-2 than here with us. My stomach churns. I hate when I can't control where my thoughts go, especially during times I need to concentrate. I begin mentally reciting the procedure clock. Ambassador, can you hear us? A voice calls over the speakers. Mission Control, we can hear you, Anna replies. We each repeat after her, confirming that our communication systems are online. Commencing MCLC, the voice says. MCLC. We had to memorize a whole list of acronyms. This one was Main Cabin Leak Check. We wait for them to report back. MCLC complete. Commencing pre-flight alignment. That's our cue. Najma starts typing at the consoles, getting the computer systems online. Tamaki and Anna work on activating flight controls. Esteban, Raheem, and I take turns running diagnostics on the various systems. Next time we do this, we'll have official roles. A pilot, a lead programmer, a planetary geologist, a medical officer, a communications officer, and a lead flight engineer. One person will also be named a mission commander, and some of us will get secondary roles to provide support for the lead roles. One of the flight engineer roles, I don't even care if it's lead or secondary, has to be me. My fingers fly over the keyboard. I will not mess this up. The numbers flash in front of me, disappearing just as quickly as they're displayed. Liquid hydrogen tanks at negative 253 degrees Celsius, opening at 3.2 meters per second, closing at 9.3 meters per second. Liquid oxygen tanks at negative 183 degrees Celsius, opening at 2.1 meters per second, closing at 5.7 meters per second. That's too slow. Ambassador to Mission Control. LOX close speed 3.3 meters per second too slow, I announce into my headset. Mission Control to Ambassador. Good catch. We'll update you on its repair status. The voice says over the speaker in my ear. Raheem takes over the diagnostics, and I strain my ears to hear if Lizzie and Kreshkov are talking about what I discovered. I'm sure I earned points for catching that error. The liquid oxygen, or LOX, is one of the main components of the rocket fuel. But too much too fast and the explosions will get out of control and blow our boosters straight off. Then we'll either fall from the sky or explode with the boosters. Neither is a good option. After diagnostics continue for another 45 minutes, Mission Control lets me know the fix has been made and the launch can proceed. It's T-minus 20 minutes to launch and time to close the vents. Najma works with Mission Control to get the computers all set to launch configuration. Tamaki and Anna line up the fuel cells. Even though they're no longer important, the diagnostic numbers idly flash by as Esteban enters the command codes on his console to shut the vents. I watched them, since I have nothing else to do at the moment. LOX open 2.1 meters per second. LOX close 4.8 meters per second. Wait, I say. I pull my own console closer to make sure I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing. Mission Control. Diagnostics showing LOX closing rate slower than before, not faster. Anna can't turn around to face me, but her voice sounds in my ear. Miranda, you're sure? Completely, I reply. Mission Control to Ambassador. Our test showing 9.0 meters per second. I shake my head. 4.8 here, Mission Control. Really? Esteban asks next to me. His fingers type quickly, going back through the running diagnostics. Oh, wow, yeah. Raheem pulls my console toward him since his isn't on the right screen. My neck creaks. I wish I could just sit up straight. This lying backward stuff is really going to take some getting used to. Ambassador, our test still showing 9.0, Mission Control says. Do something back there, Anna orders. I'd love to do something and earn more points, but what? Ruby was here. She could go down and take real measurements. That's a thought, actually. Mission Control, permission to virtually access cryosystems. I ask. There's no response for several minutes. Esteban reaches for the console Raheem's looking at, and there's a tug of war over the top of me. Really, guys? I ask. Let me see it, Esteban says. I want to double check the numbers. I haven't finished, Raheem replies. Exams. Ugh. 3 competitive people is too me for this job. I twist my head, trying to see past the console they're yanking back and forth. The countdown clock has stopped at T-minus 16 minutes. Mission Control to Ambassador, they finally answer me. Permission granted. Thank you, I say. I get up from my seat, pushing past the 2 boys to get back to the ladder. Climb up a couple of rungs, clinging onto it until I'm next to Najma. It's nice to be vertical again. Najma, can you get me in? Already done, Najma says. She swivels her main console toward me. The screen has a virtual view of the oxidizer locker. I hook one arm through a ladder rung, using the crook of my elbow to hold on. Triggering the motion sensor, I then use my hands to guide the video feed. Liquid hydrogen is above. Liquid oxygen is past this safety wall below. I virtually push through the wall to check on the other side. There. The open-close mechanism. I bite at my lower lip, zooming in closer. What's wrong? Physically, it looks fine. Maybe there's a faulty connection in the electronics. Mission Control, what powers the closing mechanisms? I ask. Lithium battery, 3.7 volts, Mission Control responds. Connectors? Silver-plated nanowire, 7 count, they reply. 4 are out, I reply, doing a quick mental calculation. 4 wires must be out. Mission Control is silent. So is our crew, even the whispering Lizzie and Krushkov. The countdown clock remains frozen at T-minus 16 minutes. Mission Control, do you copy? I ask. Ambassador, we copy, they answer. We're aborting the mission. Please stand by. Aborting? Tamaki takes off his headset and slams it down. No! Really? Najma stares at the console. They are aborting it? But this isn't real. Why can't we just make a note at this point and continue? Everyone starts talking at once, and I shrink back, climbing down the ladder to where Lizzie and Krushkov sit. I turn away from them, staring at the still-closed exit hatch. The complaints continue behind me, and my face gets hot, even as I wonder if this catch will be what saves me from flunking completely. Settle down, Lizzie shouts. Seriously, settle down. This is a good experience. This sort of thing happens all the time. If they notice something dangerous, they abort the mission, Krushkov adds. This is meant to be a realistic practice. They could not ignore such an error and continue with the simulation. They could have if Miranda had stayed quiet, Anna points out. Now, we're not going to get another chance to do this for 3 whole months, Tamaki pouts. 2 weeks at home, 2.5 months of more classes before our next quarterly exams. Way to ruin the best thing we've gotten to do so far. stare even harder at the door. Please just open. Please just open and let me out. Would you rather your crew member ignore a potentially fatal flaw in your space plane? Lizzie asks. Is that what you prefer? No one answers. I hold my breath, not daring to turn around. I thought so, Lizzie says. If this were real, Miranda would have just saved all of your lives, Krishkov says. First lesson of space travel. Things don't always go as expected. I'm sure the examiner set this up so that you would learn what often happens at launch. Something or other delays you. I want to go home now more than ever. Lizzie and Kreshkov treating me like a teacher's pet isn't going to make anyone any happier with me. Even when I do something right for once, I still mess things up. I think you all owe Miranda an apology, Lizzie says next. No, they don't. It's fine. I turn around. Really? I'm sorry, everyone. Mission Control was trying to go on like everything was fine to give us a chance to finish up our practice, and I got too obsessive. Maybe I would have lost some points for ignoring the problem, but we all could have continued anyway and gained more experience. I should have consulted with the whole team before acting. Miranda, don't apologize for being thorough, Krishkov says. This is exactly what an astronaut. The airlock hisses, and our exit hatch opens back up to the gangplank. I don't want to hear what Kreshkov's saying. I dart out the door. I'm going to go pack. Ruby and I are going home tonight. I'm going to get away from everyone who doesn't think I should be here. Everyone who's mad at me for wrecking our first chance to do a realistic run through. Everyone who's. A deafening triple boom hits my ears and the entire gangplank shakes under me. I fall, gripping onto the frigid metal mesh floor. Sirens sound. I twist myself around, flipping over to try and climb to my feet. Miranda! Lizzie shouts from inside the space plane. She jumps out, running to help me up. Are you all right? What was that? I ask. My ears are ringing, and it's hard to hear Lizzie's response now that she isn't yelling. But I don't need to hear her. I can see what made that noise. On the northern side of the island, a giant plume of smoke rises. The helicopter that brought Anna and me to Launch Island is in mangled, blazing pieces.